Well, greetings and welcome to our series of weekly devotionals. This week we are diving into chapter 40 in the book of the prophet Isaiah, some of the opening verses of that chapter. I want to begin today by reflecting on a period of time in my life. Many years ago, I was in my mid-20s and I spent a summer coaching a group of youth basketball players. My brother-in-law at the time was 12 or 13, and he ended up getting stuck on this team. And I say stuck because this team that was assembled by the organization was mostly the kids that no other coach wanted. They were kids who were kind of thought to be troublemakers. Most of them were kids from inner city Allentown, and they were just, thought to be juvenile delinquents and not the best kids. And so they were all sort of lumped together so that none of the other coaches in the organization had to deal with them, I guess. But I was coaching with another gentleman. I was the assistant coach, and this other gentleman, who was an African-American gentleman, made a point of saying how these kids weren't bad kids, that they just needed a positive word. They just needed some encouragement, and that's what we set out to do that summer. And it was actually one of the most moving and great experiences of my life to see, first of all, a group of kids who were diverse culturally, Hispanic kids, African-American kids, white kids, all kind of becoming a team. And we had a great summer, actually ended up at the top of the league. And I'll always remember the words from that coach, that these kids just need to hear something positive. And I thought about that line when reflecting on these verses in the book of the prophet Isaiah, because there, as I mentioned yesterday, there's this transition from chapter 39 to chapter 40. Most scholars, I think all scholars, probably acknowledge that there's a transition in authorship as well. Verses 1 to 39 are known as First Isaiah, and most scholars will suggest that beginning in chapter 40, these chapters are written by a different author. They call this section, chapters 40 to 55, Second Isaiah. And there's a very marked shift in tone. Chapters 1 to 39 are full of warning and judgment and blame. Isaiah tells the people of Judah that they have strayed from God. Over and over again, they have not done the things that God has asked them to do, and so Isaiah warns them that they will be judged harshly by God. They will experience all manner of hardship and difficulty, and on and on, over and over again it goes for 39 chapters, and then finally in chapter 40, we hear these words: "Comfort, O comfort my people, says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and cry to her." And after all of these long chapters of judgment and threats and warning, Isaiah shifts to words of comfort, positive words, encouraging words. And again, I think we all need to hear those kinds of words. We all need to spend more time speaking tenderly to one another. I think in our society, it's very easy, and I think we spend perhaps a lot more time speaking negatively to one another, blaming one another, finding fault, judging one another, and just complaining and griping about the things that we are not doing right or not doing for one another. And it can be easy to kind of fall into that routine and that trap. And I think it's perhaps more challenging, but much more necessary for us to speak tenderly to one another, to speak those words of encouragement, those positive words, because indeed We all need to hear that. Even if we deserve to be blamed or judged for things, we need to hear some positive words of encouragement. So my thought for the day is to think about your life and your circle of friends and family, the folks you encounter in your week, and perhaps we might reflect on who needs to hear those words of encouragement this week. Who might you speak tenderly to and offer some words of comfort? Amen.